Welcome to Behind the Sign, Season 1, Episode 2. Hi, friends. Thanks for joining us here at Collab-Works. We are filming Episode 2 of Behind the Sign. And tonight, we are featuring Messy Cat Creations. Here with me tonight, I have Kathy Musser and Andy Atnip. And we're going to be talking about their business, mostly their journey, but at the end, we're going to go over some of the artwork that they make. All of it, right?
Yes, all of it.
All of it. It is incredible. The pictures are not going to do it justice. You need to visit their store if you've never been in there. It is located at 119 South 3rd Street. And at the end of the show, there's a little sign, and we'll talk about that because they've actually counted out how many steps you take to get to their door, and I love that. So with that being said, who wants to start out? Hi, Kathy. So nice to have you with us.
It's so nice to be here. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. We've known you for a little while through L.A. Miller and Associates.
Yes.
And, you and Andy.
Yes, since we moved here in 2001. So we've been clients for about 24 years.
Oh, that's a long time.
Yeah.
Yes.
That says a lot. Says a lot about you and a lot about L.A. Miller.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is our parent company. So tell us more about your beginnings. That's what we want to know. How did all this start? Where'd you come from?
Well, I'm originally from Callaway County, a little place called Hamlin that is right on the Kentucky Lake. And I went to school in Callaway County. And then I went to Murray State in the art department, and that's where we met.
Mm-hmm.
And she's from Marshall County.
Marshall County.
So we were high school rivals, and we didn't know each other. But of course, Callaway and Marshall are huge,
We still pay
adversaries.
attention when our schools
Uh-huh.
go up against each other.
Yep.
That
Sometime-
it never goes away,
No,
does it?
it never does. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't even that big into sports in high school, but now I'm like, the girls won over your school, or your school, won over mine. So yeah, it's fun.
Ah,
Fun to have a rivalry in the house.
that's fun. That is a big rivalry. I too am from Marshall County, so I understand the Graves County, Marshall County thing.
Yeah.
Renee is from Tillman.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
All a big bunch of rivals here.
Yes. All right, let's not break out. So you met in school, and then what?
Well, we both graduated with art degrees, and then I initially, all those years ago, because we're talking about 32
Something.
years ago, and I wanted to open a shop. That was one of the things I wanted to do, and Andy is very risk averse, and so she was like, "We gotta have real jobs. We gotta, pay bills. We can't be doing that."
So did you have jobs at that time?
Yeah, at the time, she went in and got her master's. She got her MBA, so she got a business degree.
Okay.
And I was working as the assistant gallery director and slide curator at Murray State for several years. And then eventually...
Well, I went to work at the Yeiser Art
You
Center.
went to Geyser Art Center.
So then I thought, well, if I can't have my own business, I can, use my 2 degrees to work in art centers, or maybe even open my own gallery or something like that, because I've always wanted to have my own space. So that was a big thing for me since very early on. And then we both went to work for her brother, because her brother is a local chiropractor at McCracken County Chiropractic. And so when he opened his business, we both went to work for him. And
did you do all the art for his office?
I framed everything and hung it up on the walls.
yes. But I was the office manager there, and she worked insurance. And so we did that for
Forever, it
Well,
seemed like.
I quit after 5 years and opened my own business, Casey Muster Consulting. And then she stayed in insurance for the rest of the time until she just quit. Well, it's funny because she was thinking about quitting a long time ago, but her mom loved the fact that her two kids worked together.
Yeah,
And
she wanted us to be, she's super good, like best friends with her brother, so she wanted the two of us to be together. She loved us working together. She loved to be able to come by and go to lunch with both of us or whatever. So that was her dream, but it wasn't necessarily my dream. My dream was something. I didn't know what it was exactly, because my whole life I thought I was going to teach like high school art or, middle school art. But once I did my student teaching, I thought, I don't think this is for me. That's why.
Why was that hard? Was it the kids?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, sort of. Yeah,
I don't know how teachers do it.
Yeah, but I went into it expecting kids to be more like what we were like, But a lot of time had passed. Yeah, it was a generational change, and so I felt like the respect/intimidation factor that teachers had was gone. Yeah. And so it was really hard to get kids to listen and everything else. And I thought, my personality is not one to have to put up with that.
Right.
Not that I was, I'm not somebody who wants to be upset and be on edge all the time.
Yeah, and it was just driving you a different direction.
And so I thought, I need to do something else. And so when I worked for my brother and I did all that, I was good at it, but it's not what I wanted to do.
You weren't fulfilled.
No.
Yeah.
And so my mom passed away. And after she passed away, I was like, well, now I'm not being held to an expectation. I'm not having to please anybody but myself at this point. Right. And so, she had been pushing and pushing, like, we should do this, we should try this, we should try this. And I was like, well, if I'm ever going to do it, now is the moment. And so, and I wasn't even necessarily thinking us having a shop. We were going to be doing like fairs and those kinds of things.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's what I was anticipating. I was anticipating making art and doing whatever. And she was going to have her job that was going to support us while we were getting our foot in the door for what we were doing.
So keep that steady.
Yeah. So my brain was like, we're still good, we're set, and and then she went, bail.
Well, I am absolutely not risk averse. Every change I've ever made in my life, I've just gone, now's the time, I'm jumping, and I'll figure it out halfway down the cliff. So,
yeah.
So,
well, in big moves, that's what it takes.
Yeah.
It takes that for big moves.
Yeah.
So,
and I was absolutely miserable working what I was doing. And so I saw her going in and making art every day. And I was like, I can't keep doing this, watching you getting to make art full time every day. And so I'm like, I can't. We're going to have to, we're both in our 50s. We need to do something. We need to jump and really try this. And so we had booked up, this was in 2022?
Could be.
I think, let's see, we've been open 2 years, so that would have been 23. So yeah, it would have been 22. So at the end of, she quit her job in around June of 2022. And I quit in December.
So scary, but so you just knew.
Yeah. So all of 2023, we had booked art fairs and traveling shows and things. So we had booked out all of the year. And so we started out, we were doing really well. We did Lowertown Art, of course, Lowertown Arts and Music Festival. And we did Pride that year. And Pride that year, it was 90-something degrees at 8 a.m. when we were starting to
yikes.
Bring all of our stuff and set up the booth.
Is that when you were like, this is not for us?
Well, we had a great day that day. It was fantastic, but I ended up in the hospital that night with
from the heat.
Yes. And so the rest of the year was planned out at outside fairs. And I told her, I can't do that. My health is now at risk, and I can't do that. So we were like, we have just quit our jobs.
Right.
And we have made art, and we have all this art. We have to do something.
Yeah, now you
And-
don't have a choice.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that was the leap. Like,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
Yes.
when there's no choice.
Yes.
And we hear this all the time in business. You have to make it.
Yes.
There is no choice.
Yes.
But that's where the best things happen.
Mhm. And so we started looking for a place, and I kid you not, we were part of an art collective, and we had friends in the art collective, and we told them what had happened, and I said, so everybody be on the lookout for a place for us. We have to rent a place. And like the next day, one of our really good friends, Savannah Vincent at Broadway Custom Framing.
I started saying, yeah.
Yes, she's wonderful. And she texted me and she said, have you seen this post on Facebook? And so I went and I looked, and it was for the space. They had always used it. It's owned by the two people, Paul and Jorge of 1857 Hotel. And we weren't sure who owned it at the time, but they had always used it as a space for overbook at their hotel.
Like
They
wedding
had done-
reception.
like
Oh,
wedding
smaller
reception.
events.
Yeah,
Because
small events.
Savannah and Dakota had actually had their wedding reception there at the space, and she was like, it's a beautiful space, why don't you contact them and see. So I sent an email, and at the end, at the beginning I said, I'm Kathy Musser, and my wife and I, Andrea Atnip, we're looking at this space. And at the end, Paul said, Andrea Atnip, is that Andrea Atnip of Marshall County? And come to find out, Paul and Andy had gone to elementary school together.
We were like best
So,
in the
yes.
best friend group in
Yes.
elementary school.
What
So
a
it's
small.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
So it just turned out perfect. As soon as we saw the space, I
Oh my
fell in love
God.
with
Everything
it.
just lined up.
Yes.
And that's when you know you're doing the right
Yeah.
thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it was, again, she was like, oh my God, this is a big deal. How
Yeah.
are we going to do this? And I was like, how can we not do this? We have to be downtown. We have to be part of the art district. So we just took a chance and did it. So,
Yeah.
And so glad you did.
yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because I'm still very risk averse, and I also am a worrier. And so I keep telling myself that no matter what, I will ride this as long as it goes. And if it succeeds, great, because it's, of course, what we want to do. But even if it doesn't, I did it for the time that I got to do it. I got to do what I went to school for, that I feel passionate about, that that is fulfilling and is everything that she wants. And I at least got to do it for however long that is.
Right.
So,
and
yeah.
no regrets.
No regrets.
You got to live a life
Because-
with no regrets.
Yeah, because even if it fails, I got to do it, and I would have never done it otherwise. So,
And all the great memories you
yeah,
made.
yeah, because it's like the people we've met. We've met our best friends there. We've done so many things, and I've created work, artwork that I never thought I would create. So, I don't know. Yeah.
So do you feel like just making this move made you better? It brought out what, maybe not made you better, that's probably not the right, but just brought out the things that may have stayed buried that you
Yes.
didn't have the time to do. And
Yeah,
think about
definitely.
if you were still doing all those fairs and moving around and trying to do festivals and that kind of thing, the time you would have give up,
Yeah.
that you would have been, honing in on the art.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at least for me, she's always been a fantastic artist. I mean, I swear she's a reincarnation of Leonardo da Vinci, because she can just do anything and everything. So I don't know if she considers the fact that she has grown as an artist, but I know for me, you can look at the art I was doing in 2017 and look at the art that I'm doing now. And just having a daily routine of making art every single day has just made my art so much better. And I am doing art now that I would never have dreamed of doing before. And it's just, you can see, because of course we have pictures, with social media,
Right.
of where I started in when I was getting into the kind of art that I did, because neither one of us is doing art that we went to school for.
No.
What we're doing now is so completely different than what we went to school for.
Behind the Sign is proudly sponsored by L.A. Miller & Associates, your trusted partner in small business growth. For more than 30 years, L.A. Miller has been helping entrepreneurs not just balance their books, but build the business of their dreams. From accounting and tax strategy to consulting and coaching, their team understands that numbers are only part of the story. The real story is your growth. Whether you're just opening your doors or scaling to the next level, L.A. Miller & Associates stands beside you with the expertise, tools, and personal guidance you need to succeed. Because at L.A. Miller, supporting small business isn't just what they do, it's who they are. L.A. Miller & Associates, your partner in growth, your partner in business.
So when I started doing mixed media and watercolor, it was the first time I had ever done either of those with any real intent in 2017. So to look at what I was doing then and to look at what I'm doing now is just night and day. So the fact that we're getting to make art every single day really hones. Well, it's like anything. Art is just a skill. Yes, some people are more talented than others, but with any skill, if you do it day in and day out, you're of course going to get better at it. So yes, it's definitely made
Except for
me
running a business, I don't feel like we've gotten really better.
You're artist. You're not supposed to know that part.
Exactly.
She has an MBA.
Yeah, I do have an MBA. I should be getting a little better at running the business.
But I mean, I really think at your core, you're the artist.
Yes.
You are.
Yes.
And one thing I know about artists and the way the brain works, there's the logical brain and there's the creative brain, and people can argue this all they want to, but I don't think they like each other.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because one of them has to steal the show. Like if you're working logical brain, the creative brain's like, okay, I'm going to take a nap, and vice versa. But, that...
when I try to talk to her about the business aspect, because, of course, because I have an MBA, I do take care of the business side of the business. And when I start trying to talk to her about something we need to make a decision about, her eyes glaze over. She doesn't want to deal with it,
Yeah, I'm just like, you just don't even talk to me about it, because all it does is want to stress me out.
Just let me know afterwards.
Yeah, it's better I remain ignorant and you just do it and then just don't even tell me.
And I must say, she does a really good job at it.
Oh,
you really do.
Thank you so much.
You do. So you're able to put creative to bed for a minute anyway,
Yes.
and then do the book work.
Yes.
And then you get to say, I'm glad that's done. Now let me go back to making some art.
I do have to say, though, starting this business has shocked me. We've known each other for almost 35 years, and because we were friends before we ever started dating or anything. And so I've known her for, well over half my life, and I had no idea that she had marketing skills. She has surprised me day in and day out since we started this business. My gosh, every inventive, cute thing that you see having to do with our brand, she created our logo. She created the sign with the steps that we're going to talk about later. She has, we have rewards cards. I keep hitting this mic. We have rewards cards, and she designed these really cute rewards cards. She is just brilliant when it comes to marketing. I mean, everything that we're doing with the cocktail trail downtown, those are all her ideas. I mean, it's just, she is brilliant when it comes to marketing, and I had no idea until
be careful about talking about that too much. You'll have people like knocking on the door, hey, Auntie, we need your services. Because marketing is a hard piece, and it's the piece that everybody needs.
Yes.
It is a time suck. It takes a lot of time to do it, and it takes even more time to do it great.
Right.
And you are doing a great job of it. I look at the things that you're doing, and I'm like, wow, but I had no idea which one of you, or if you outsourced it.
So I do all the social media posts. That's why they look all kinds of crazy and messy. I really embody the brand of Messy Cat.
Yeah.
I am all about the mess. So all of our, most people have these professional pictures of, their art to put on. I just hold it up with all of our mess in the background, and I'm taking pictures.
But you know what? No one wants to see the perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, we all think we want perfect, and we're kind of taught that, it needs to be perfect, but that's what makes the sell for the people that make perfect. What I want to see is real. I want to see the candid photos with everything.
Yeah. So, I mean, she does not appreciate what I do with social media. So she's like,
but she's a good sport.
awful.
Such a good sport. You just,
So, well, she has no choice because I do it.
Yeah, because I'm not the one doing it.
Yeah.
You find out after
do
the
it.
fact.
It's one of those
I don't
things
even
that
look.
she's not gonna do. She comes up with all the brilliant ideas. I do all the labor intensive taking the pictures and posting them on if you ever see any of the pieces look really nice and centered and really well lit, that's a day she's
That's
done it.
Andy.
Yep, that's a day she's done it. You can tell by the way it looks on social media. If it's my hand holding with the camera, then that's me. But if it looks nicely lit and really beautifully done,
It's usually a day that something has happened, and she's like, "Send me some pictures," and I'm like, "All right."
Yep. And then they're all beautiful, and I post those. So you can definitely tell by looking at our social media when she's taking the photos versus when I have.
It is great because it is such a good balance. It is just great. So speaking of your social media, let's talk about that for a second. You got Facebook, I know for sure. What other socials are you on?
Well, we started out really with a YouTube channel. Before we ever even did our first fair, we dabbled in YouTube. And then once we started this business, having the store, the YouTube has fallen to the side. The TikToks have fallen to the side. We're on Etsy, but Instagram and Facebook are the ones that we post every single day.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Those are your majors.
because they're the easiest.
And can people buy your art through your social medias or through another platform, through a website?
Etsy. So they can
Etsy.
buy directly from Etsy, but our main...
And they just look for Messy Cat Creations?
But we don't have, because we have our shop, we don't necessarily like having to juggle inventory from Etsy and, so what we tend to do is put most things are in our shop. We have a few things on Etsy, but we also, because we post things on, Facebook and Instagram every day, we're, Kathy's always trying to tell people that if you want it, let us know. And if it's somebody who lives off somewhere, we can put it on Etsy, or we can, somehow send an invoice. We can do however they want, in order for them to get that piece.
Right.
So, and since we make all the pieces ourselves, we're always say, we get a lot of custom, people wanting custom.
Yeah, that was my next question is, how does that work? Somebody walks in, they look at your stuff, they trigger something inside them, and they're like, oh, can you do this? And
Yes, every single thing in our store can be customized or personalized in some way. So we both have a wait list, and so right now I'm working on my October wait list, and Andy has several pieces on her wait list right now. So it just depends on how far in the future you're willing to wait. And we always tell people, if it's a Christmas present, let us know ahead of time, because
So like now.
start now.
yeah, you can't be the person that waits until the week of or the day before and be like, I've got to get something special.
We have had
Let me go check with Messy Cat, because you're going to be like, okay, well, there's things in the shop.
Yes,
Right, because they're
that's the
also
only
special
answer.
and unique, but they're not going to get that custom design,
Yeah,
right?
because there's a big wait list all year long, and so if it's something for a birthday present or a Christmas present, please, it's custom. Even if I had no one, it's 2 weeks at least for a custom piece. So, and then count those 2 weeks for everybody else that's on the list.
Right.
And it's a long wait. So
Good to
I think
know.
people don't understand, because we make so much and we're so prolific with all that we make. They don't understand that you only see what's come out today, but we've been working on it for days.
Right.
So,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we live in an instant gratification world. And so just humans in general right now are trained that we can just do that. So we just expect you guys to be able to go make that right now. Can't you go like in the shop and back? It's so simple. Just do this. Behind the Sign is brought to you by L.A. Miller & Associates. your partner in small business growth. From accounting to strategy, their team is here to guide you every step of the way. L.A. Miller & Associates, because your success is their business. What is a big struggle? What is some of the biggest struggles that you guys have to figure out?
The balance is the business side versus what you love, because the admin part of being a small business owner is gigantic. It is just, you are, yes, you're your own boss, but you have to do your taxes. I would be lost without L.A. Miller, because they help me every quarter. Everything that I need for my taxes, they help, but I'm still the one that has to get all the information together. I have to keep track of all of our sales and all of,
We have sales and use tax.
yes,
And
sales and use tax.
And just that is a nightmare.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that starting your own business, you have to have a passion for what it is you want to do, but you also have to be prepared for really, really hard work in the admin department. Or if you can hire somebody that knows what they're doing, then do that.
But
because-
unfortunately, that's just so often not the case,
Right.
is there's no money
right.
in which to
Yeah.
hire someone to
Right.
do it.
Yeah.
And I think COVID made that so much worse
Oh, yeah.
with, just with the economy and people needing to make more money.
Mhm.
And, as small business owners, trying to raise your price along the way, that's hard because, but you have to, because your expenses are going up. But yeah, then if there's anything you can do yourself, you think, I've got to do this. But then, the balance,
Yeah,
where that
it's
takes you
really
away
hard.
from what you need to be doing
Mhm.
to make the money you need to make
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
continue to live the life you want to
Yeah.
live.
Yeah.
Well,
doing your
honestly, having your own business, as much as you'll sometimes think, I get to set my own hours and you'll never work a harder job than working for yourself. A lot of times, you're wearing 5 hats at once, but you've only got the one head. And so it's hard because
Good
you're trying to,
analogy. I never thought of that.
Yeah.
yeah, so it's hard to sort of swing in and out of, she's quicker about swinging in and out of the hats, and I just mainly wear the artist hat, and I don't envy
Yeah.
her admin portion, because when she
it's
says,
tough.
I have to do admin today, I'm like, sucks to be you. It's awful, but I'm just like,
Behind the Sign is sponsored by L.A. Miller & Associates and the All-Star Team, supporting small business with numbers, strategy, and partnership that fuel growth.
and we just celebrated our 2nd anniversary on August 1st. But when they ask me, how long does it feel? I say 8 months. I feel like I've been doing this about 8 months, and I still feel like I'm trying to figure everything out, I
Right.
mean, 2 years later, and I sometimes have forgotten to plug in the open sign, or I suddenly realize somebody's knocking on the door and I've left the door locked, and I'm like, holy cow, at what point is this
You know why
routine?
that is because you kept your art hat on and you just
Yeah,
went straight to work.
exactly. But it's that kind of thing where there's nothing that feels routine to me yet. At one point when we first started, we had a checklist. We would go down the checklist every day. Did we do this when we were closing? These things when we were opening. And eventually we both went, we've got this. And no, we still don't have this.
Yeah, I don't know how many times, because we eat a lot of our meals there because we're there all the time, and we'll be eating breakfast and all of a sudden we'll hear knock, 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 and I'm like, oh, we forgot the
Yeah.
door. That
Yeah.
has happened multiple times.
And eating is always when we have customers come in.
it's the
Every
strangest
single
thing.
time. I swear I need to walk around with a plate of food, because then we would be busy all the time.
It
Because
doesn't matter
Hey,
what
give it a
time-
try. Just
yeah,
give it a
yeah,
Yeah, it doesn't matter what time of day we choose to eat, because some days we're busy and we get in the middle of art mode, and so we don't eat until late. And then here comes somebody. I
the
mean,
second we
minute
sit down.
Yep, it's crazy. It's so weird.
And she always goes to take care of everything up front, so I'm eating. I'm telling
And then
you,
she
her
comes back
life
and
is-
looks at you like, was your lunch good?
I know. It's like her life is very different from my life. I've sort of got it cushy in a lot of ways.
Got a whole new appreciation
I
for her now.
know.
don't you?
Oh,
I take a lot of things for granted. A win for me is, we get commissioned people wanting commissions.
Yes.
And I had a woman who had been in and looked at everything and saw that I made handmade books. And at one point she came in and she said, my husband passed away last year and I'm wanting to journal about it, but I would like to have a journal that has him on the cover and him in the pages of the book. And so to have somebody think of me and something that I am able to do something that is meaningful to them, not in just a simple, I'd love to have a book to journal in, but something that is about their husband and about their loss. And for her to pick out pictures, give me those pictures, and entrust me to make something that is that meaningful. And then when I give it to them, the reaction I got, it's a lot, because it makes me feel overwhelmed. It makes me want to tear up, because that was that was a win for me, because this is something that, I wouldn't have ever thought I would have been doing,
Right.
And that's a lot.
And those are those moments, without a doubt,
Yeah.
you're doing what you are here to do.
Yeah.
Well, that made me a little teary.
Yeah, really.
It really did.
I'm sitting there thinking, what an honor
just-
to be able
Yeah.
to be a part of that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And a blessing too. It just,
Yeah.
that was a really beautiful story.
I have several wins that I think about because just like her with the woman and her husband, I've been doing pet portraits almost since the day we opened. It's just something I love to do, and I feel honored that people would trust me. But one thing that I naively never thought about was the fact that people would ask me to do portraits of their cats that have passed or their dogs that had passed. Memorial pieces. And that, I just never thought about that. And I have been entrusted by so many people to memorialize their pets, and that is such an honor. And the fact that they trust me to do it is, like she said, it is such an honor to be able to do that for them. And people have bought them as gifts for other people, and I've seen people cry over them. It's it's really a huge honor.
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah, that is a huge win. But on a lighter note, I love seeing, we make material too. We started out for quilters. We hand print material and fat quarters and stuff, and we've had people buy them and then make things out of our art. And that was a huge big deal, because it was one of the riverboat people had bought one of our pieces of material, and then they ended up sending us a photo of what they made out of it. And so that was really a big win to get to see that. But one of the things that I love the most is how many of our return customers come in for gifts for other people. They'll like whip in on their lunch and they're like, I've got to buy a gift today, so I wanted to come in.
Yeah.
And that makes me so happy, because there's a lot of creativity in Paducah. There's a lot of shops in Paducah. And
There's a lot to choose from.
Yeah.
And
There
when
is.
they choose you,
Yes. And so that really, more than anything, makes me feel so wonderful, because we are creating things that people think about us to come back and get. And that just makes me so happy.
Being a space for creative people to come in,
Yes.
because she's got a crochet club that meets once a month, and it's a wide range of ages,
Right.
and they come in, they all sit around, they talk about books and TV and movies and the world and just everything. It's just a group of people just sitting, creating. It was initially only crochet, but now, you've got knitters and people who make, chainmail and
We have a person that
sketchbooks. And
sketches every month, and I mean, it's just a creative space.
so it's become more like an art club, and it's just a group of
Like
people.
their own little
Yeah,
community.
yeah, and everybody sits and gets into just being able for 2 hours to just sit and be creative with
Forget
other
about the
people.
world and just share
I was about to
their
say
art
they
with
get to
each other.
escape
Mm-hmm.
for
Yeah.
a couple hours.
Yeah.
the fact that they know it's a safe space,
Yeah.
they know they can talk about anything they want to talk about, they won't get any judgment at all, and we create together. And it reminds me of the old sewing bees, the quilting
Like
bees,
quilting bees.
that people would go and do in a community. They would all get together and they would talk and laugh, and that's exactly what we do, is we sit and create our own work, but we're laughing and talking together.
I love that. So if someone's interested in that, say it again. So it is once a month on
The second Tuesday of every month,
the second
and
Tuesday.
it starts at 6:00. It's free. We
Just show up,
Yes.
or do they need to call, or
Well, we prefer if you at least text or call us to let us know that you're coming, because we have a limited space.
right?
And we need to know how many chairs to put out and stuff. But if you forget,
It just helps you
can
prepare.
just- yeah,
You
it just
show
helps
up,
us
you show
prepare,
up.
but you just show up. So, yeah.
So what would you guys do if someone gave you a big infusion of cash? What is the thing? Just pick one. You only get to pick one. But what would you do that would help your business the most? And we're going to send this to Santa Claus.
Yeah. Well, of course, the risk averse person wants to hang on to it so that for whatever. But
For the
But
future.
if I was given the money and I had to put it all towards one thing, probably hiring somebody to work at our office or at our shop. To do the marketing things, to take a lot of the work that she does off of her shoulders, because she's always doing the admin and photos and all that. If we could hire somebody that could be there and do those things, that would free time up for us to be creative.
Right.
That's great for her to be creative since I'm already creative. But it's one of those kinds of things that I think that would probably be. It would not only help us, it would help somebody else.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, every job makes a
Yeah.
difference. So we would love to hire someone, and it would really help both of us, but it would help them, but it would also help the community, because we have a lot of good ideas that we can't do because we're trying to run the business and do the art and
Right.
all the things.
The daily operations holds you
Yes.
back so much.
Yes. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's just put the request out there. So if you're listening or watching and you just have a bunch of money you need to do something with, Messy Cat Creations could put that to good use
Yes.
and give someone a job.
Yes,
And also do more art
Yes.
for the folks wanting to buy it.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
It would help three
because
people.
she
It would
spends a
help
lot of time.
so
she,
much.
She fills out. She applies for grants.
Yeah.
She does that kind of thing because.
And that's hard work
Yeah,
too.
it's a
Yes,
lot
it
of hard
is.
work, and
Very
so she will sit
time-consuming.
down and she will, I'm gonna do some admin. I'm like,
Go for it.
and she does all of that stuff, and it is very time consuming. But it's anything to keep this going as long as we can do it.
Yeah.
So
Very good. Well, we've made the request. I'm also going to send the letter to Santa to be on the wish list. So another question I really like to ask is, what would your younger self say about where you are right now?
my younger self would say, where did this come from? How did this happen? Because I thought I was going to be teaching school. So they would not have, because I am not the kind of person to start a business like this. So they would be very confused. But if the younger me that was still in college could sort of do things different, I would have told myself, don't wait. Don't put off. Don't, because I'm living the dream right now. And to know that, I don't want to say I wasted years, because that's not what was happening.
No,
but-
because whatever those years were probably building blocks
Yes,
to where
they
you
were,
are now.
absolutely. And I learned a lot, I learned a lot of things. And so I wouldn't throw that away, but I would also say, if I were to go back in time,
Yep.
don't wait.
Don't
You'd have
wait.
taken
Jump.
the leap.
Yeah, leap,
Earlier.
do it. Yeah.
Just don't.
I
be
would
scared.
have been edging down that cliff that she would throw herself off. Of,
She would just jump off
Yeah,
with
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
with or maybe without a parachute.
yeah, just give me a shove and then she would jump. But yeah,
And what about you, Kathy? What would your younger self think of where you are now?
I think she would be so impressed. I think that she would just, I don't think she ever would have thought that this would happen. But she would be so happy. She would be so happy. And the fact that I'm now getting to talk to young people who have that dream like I did, and I'm getting to encourage them and to answer questions for them about how to start their business and things. And one of the things I always tell them is do not wait.
Right.
Because and again, I don't feel like I wasted my life, but I know just since 2017, when I started really focusing more on art, I can see the difference in my art. And just in those 8 years, it's leaps and bounds better than where I was. And so I think if I had been doing this since I was in my 20s, my art would have been on a whole different level.
Right.
So I think that she would be excited. She would be just flabbergasted that I'm actually getting to do this.
Yeah.
But I also think that I wish I had started earlier.
Yeah.
So.
And so maybe the advice is maybe you can't go all in,
Right.
but start.
Yes.
Yeah.
Start somewhere. Maybe you just got to do it kind of in tandem, but
Yeah.
just see where it leads. And what I'm hearing from you guys is just trust the gut. Just trust yourself more about where that's leading. And no, I always say we wouldn't have the vision. We wouldn't have the passion to do it if we weren't supposed to do it. We wouldn't be able to see it if we weren't supposed to. So where do you hope to be in the next 5 years, 10 years? What's the big plan here?
We just want to be a bigger part of the community and be more well known, because I think I'm not looking for a big giant space,
Right.
I would like to be in more shows and things. We're getting ready for 2 different shows this year. We're going to be in the Freight House starting in September, and then we're going to be in Artisan Kitchen in
I love that.
October, I think. So
This is something we've been talking about on the All-Star Show, is how we've always seen that a little bit in Paducah where restaurants will hang art, but it's growing. It's a big movement right now. We're seeing more of the artists there, so I love that that's happening for you guys.
we're really excited.
And people will just be able to buy your art
Yeah.
right from there.
Right from there, yeah.
Like I'll just be having dinner and be like, this piece is speaking to me, so go ahead and put that on my tab.
Yeah.
Well, I hope more businesses catch on to that. You know, you get doctor's office, professional
Yeah.
offices. You know,
Because
that,
honestly, any kind of place, if they were to sort of put that call out to artists, so many artists are looking for any, place.
Exposure.
Yeah.
Right.
And one of her biggest pieces right now is in one of our friends just opened her own space. We know so many women who are going into business for themselves, and we are so lucky to call so many of them our friends. But one of our friends, Jessica Rumsey, she just opened gallery downtown, and she asked for Andy to
for both of us.
Yes.
She asked for both, but because we're in this like frenzy of trying to create artwork, I happen to have just finished a really, really large piece, and she had a nice space, and she told me, you can come hang it wherever you want to hang it. And so,
I love that.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have all those supportive artists. 1857, I had my stuff there, and so there's different places, different businesses, and if they ask, there are so many artists that would jump at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And it-
business owners.
It does. Yeah.
So we should say this: business owners, stop buying corporate pieces. Okay, quit going to Walmart and the dollar store, or ordering it online, or getting it from Amazon. Let's support the arts.
Yeah.
We live in an art.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, because I hung my piece in Jessica's space. It is for sale, but if it, it'd be nice if it sells, but that's not, it's just getting to put my art out there for people to see.
Yes.
I mean, that's why you're an artist. I mean, that's one of the things to me about being an artist is, we don't have children. When I die, it's like I have my brother's children, and I assume their children will know me. But eventually I will, I will no longer be around, but my art will be here.
Yeah, that's
For
your legacy.
everything,
That's it.
that's what I'm leaving behind. I'm leaving behind something that, will go from person to person to person. I'm creating things that will be passed down. I am creating things that are a part of me is in every single one of these things. You know, I'm not just throwing stuff together. I'm creating something that means something to me, and that's what I'm leaving behind. And so to be able to get to hang something somewhere, whether somebody wants to just hang it or whether they want to hang it and have it for sale,
Right.
I don't care one way or the other.
It's great
just
for
like having
them.
it out
It
there.
helps
Yeah.
them decorate their space in a beautiful local way.
Yes.
And it's great for you guys because it's advertising and exposure that you might not otherwise
Yes.
get. And if someone sees that and loves it, they're going to hunt you down. They're going to find that messy cat.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're going to see that sign with the steps on it. Is there anything about either of you, maybe both of you, that people don't know, that they should know about you as a person?
We're both big geeky people. I love video games.
Okay, what's your favorite?
Fallout 76.
That just rolled right off her tongue.
Oh
didn't it?
gosh, I could
She
talk
has
about.
played that every day for like the last.
I did the beta
years.
when that came out. It came out in like 2018. I played every single day for however long, and I play lots of different kinds of video games, but I always fall back to Fallout. I love any kind of open world, you know.
What do you play video games on?
Typically my Xbox, but I have all of the things.
I would have never guessed this.
I have all of the things.
Well, it's funny because last week the Cocktail Trail theme was 1980s. And so we brought in a whole bunch of 80s themed video games and computers, and they were all first generation owned
Oh, wow.
by her.
And it was just a fraction of all of the video, like, you know, little handheld video games, and my VIC-20 with its cartridges, because I couldn't afford a Commodore 64, so VIC-20 it was. And I have been obsessed with video games ever since I was little bitty. So, like, the first
Did you
person
start out with like a Nintendo or something?
my friend had a Nintendo, and so
Or an
I
Atari.
on Nintendo.
Was it
Yeah.
Atari?
Well, VIC-20
Yeah,
and Atari were
around the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, so I played a lot of those sort of games. She had a Nintendo, and so I got to play, you know, Punch Out and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, Duck Hunt and all that. So we played that kind of thing, and then, but she eventually ended up going to Western, and I was at Murray, and I didn't have any video games, and then I made friends with somebody who had a Nintendo, and so I was
Did
like,
you play Mario Brothers?
I did, and any of the Zelda, I loved all that kind of stuff. And then I've just, you know, and when I got to a point where I could buy my own, one of the very first gifts she bought me when we were first friends was a game for my Sega Genesis. So,
So you have had every game.
Yes,
yes, every
literally,
and you know,
literally,
yeah.
yes.
Like
I
still have them too.
Yes, still have them. I have the
had no
boxes and
idea.
everything. That's how weird I am. Yeah,
No idea. Wow.
yeah,
That's
Probably
really
worth a lot of
incredible.
money.
probably. Yeah,
Oh yeah, we
She'll
could
keep-
fund our business.
yeah. If I were to get rid of
Look,
all
your
of my
phone's
things-
gonna be ringing like,
Yeah.
"Hey, if you're ever interested in selling that, I'm in the
Yeah.
market for it."
And
I
she
love
will
that.
not sell it.
Big
I'm
gamer.
a
All
whore.
right. What about you, Kathy?
Well, I am. I don't think people realize that I'm actually more of an introvert than I am an extrovert. I'm just really good at faking it.
Do you have the days it's easier and the days it's harder, or can you always just fake through it?
I'm pretty good at faking.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at faking being an extrovert.
Yeah.
But it comes from trauma. It is a trauma response for being up and bubbly to hide depression and anxiety. So I like to talk about the fact that I suffer from depression and have extreme anxiety. And I like to educate people about it because there's such a stigma about it. So most people, when they meet me, they think I'm so up and bubbly, and I am. And a lot of that is authentic because now I get to do what I want to do. So it is very authentic. But people have known me as an up and bubbly person my whole life, but it was not genuine. It is absolutely genuine now because I'm living my dream.
Right.
But
And that's probably part of the therapy that
Oh,
helps you
absolutely.
deal with the
Yes.
anxiety and
Yes.
the depression.
And I talk about going to therapy too. I am very vocal about, I think every person on the planet should have a therapist, especially now.
I agree. I agree. We all
think
need
it is-
one.
Yes, it is so helpful and it has been so wonderful. I had therapy earlier today. So, yeah, but I like to talk about that because there is such a stigma. And so most people wouldn't know that about me if,
Right.
I hadn't.
And the only way that it helps other people in the world is to talk about it and let people know they're not alone.
That's right.
And it's perfectly normal and okay. I mean,
Yes.
Right.
Well, in one of our crochet clubs, it was funny. A new person had come in and he was a little late. And we were all sitting around talking. And he was like, "Am I too late?" And I was like, "Absolutely not. We're just sitting here talking about how not one of us in this room is anything but neurodivergent. We're all neurodivergent. We all have some kind of mental illness issue going on. And we're all happy about being here together and sharing what we go through."
Well, because that's what makes it so much better.
Yes.
The worst part of it all is when you isolate
Yep.
and you don't talk about it.
Yes.
And then you feel into that
Yep.
and you start to feel lonely and alone in the world.
Yep.
And the honest truth is, I'd say a large percentage of the population deal with it on some degree.
Yep.
And if they say they don't, I'm just going to say they're liars.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, because I just don't know how
a
that's
lot
the
of
truth.
people who are neurotypical actually are neurodivergent. They just are not self-aware
Right.
enough to realize
Right.
that they're. I don't know if there are neurotypical
Well, don't you think,
people,
and
so.
not to get us way off track or anything, but I do think this is such an important conversation. But I think when I think back to being a kid and my mom, generations ago, they just called it moody or hormonal
Yes. Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever. And it was just kind of written off. And
Well, there was such a stigma,
it was
for
terrible.
to admit any kind of anything. Nobody
That
wanted
wasn't
to
the
admit,
normal.
Yeah, if you weren't somehow absolutely normal, there was such a stigma that let's hide this,
Right.
push that down, push those feelings.
there
down,
was a lot
whatever.
of hiding. I'm glad that we live in a time and place. It's still hard. I don't think that anybody can say that it's easy
Yeah.
all the time, but our world is becoming more aware and more accepting, and there are more conversations, and they started just like this with people dealing with these things and just saying, it's okay, and you're not alone.
Yeah.
That's been a very big, important thing for me. Having this business, it gives me a platform to have a safe space for people, whether it's because you're queer or whether it's because you have mental illness or depression or anxiety, whether you are homeless. We've had homeless people walk in, and we want everyone to be welcome in our space. We want everyone to feel comfortable in our space, and it's been a big issue for me to be a welcoming space for everyone.
You guys have wonderful stories.
Thank you.
And I love your business. I love the things that you're doing for Paducah. I love that your shop is downtown. And I love your art. So speaking of that, let's look at some of that.
Okay.
Behind the Sign is sponsored by the All-Star Team from L.A. Miller and Associates, keeping small business dreams alive with less stress, more strategy, and just the right amount of number crunching magic. All right, first up.
Oh, that's mine. That is a printmaking piece. Except for most of the time, printmaking, it's linoleum block, carved linoleum. And each of those
I think you need to talk. Okay, carved linoleum. Just start there.
Okay.
Real quick.
So
short version. Tell us what that is.
It's like different sizes of. It's sort of a rubbery material, and you take a blade, different shaped blades, and carve into it to give yourself the image that you then ink and then print.
Okay.
Traditionally, with most printmaking that you do, whether that's lithograph, whatever, you will a lot of times do the same image over and over and over. Like with printmaking with linoleum blocks or wood cut and all that kind of stuff, I'm going to do 50 of the same thing. I like to do a bunch of different things with the blocks I carve. And so this is made up of, the background is one shape that is.
And they're tiny.
Yeah, they're tiny,
very
so
tiny.
it fits together sort of like a puzzle piece. And then the grass is a bunch of different blocks that go in to try to make it look random.
So you carve each one of these. You carve a lot of them. You put it in ink.
I have a roller.
A
Some of
roll-
them I
you roll them.
roll. Some of them I use different ink blocks.
And then you
and I
stamp.
smush it on the wall. And I stand there. And
And
I
this is
smush
is
it,
this
smush it,
like
smush it,
canvas that it
This
is
is
on, or is it some kind of
this
paper?
Is a paper. A friend of ours that she shared space with that had Imagine Images. She's a photographer. Jenny Harris, and she's a photographer, and she had some backdrops she wasn't using anymore, and so she gave them to us to use. And so that's actually
And you repurposed it.
And I repurposed it because
I love that.
And
Even
I like to work really large.
So
and
do you know how many different pieces you have in that you
that are
carved to make that?
Probably 20 or so.
Awesome.
And they all sort of puzzle together so that I can create a random scene. And then I go back with pen and ink and I draw. So I have started the dragonfly. My mom called them snake doctors. It is in color. It's at this point it was just a pencil drawing. I started like really working on it today. So I now have the wing and the one
I
wing
started
and
to
the
say
body.
I took this picture yesterday.
Yes. So now
So-
this is
so now
this
it doesn't
is,
look
so
like-
since then it's changing and it's eventually going to be all in color and then I'll take it off the wall and frame it.
Well, it's beautiful.
So,
I
thank
can't wait
you.
to see the finished product.
Thank you so much.
I have a quick question on
Yeah.
it. Just because I've been in the shop, the last 2 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you said that you tell stories that nobody is aware of. And is there a story in this one?
There isn't now. There probably will be by the time I finish it. Sometimes I know immediately what I'm going to do. A lot of my work is because I don't have the ability to picture things in my head. I don't always know ahead of time what I'm going to do. Sometimes I have come up with titles of things, and then the piece eventually came. And sometimes I do the piece, and then the title eventually comes. This one doesn't have a title yet because I don't know exactly how I'm going to finish it. Now, it does have hidden, the background has white in it that fluoresces under a black light.
Which was really cool. She showed me that while I was in
I didn't
there.
get to see that part.
Or it
That was
shows
awesome.
up
Really
under the
neat.
sun if it hits just right.
And then once she showed me, because I couldn't see it, and then once she showed me, then I could see it just with my bare eye,
Yeah.
Well, this is awesome.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see what that finished product or
Thank you.
finished art, I guess we should say, looks like. Next up.
So that's one of my first mixed media pieces that I ever did.
So this is Kathy's.
Yes. And so it's got a lot of different layers. The mixed media that I do now looks completely different than the mixed media I was doing then. But this has magazine pieces in the background to give the depth and the change of color. And then I painted over the top of that. And then all of the grasshopper and the spiders and the spider web and everything, that's all gouache paint. And then I also use like colored pencil and even some crayons and things. So most of my mixed media, I just throw everything on the canvas. Every kind of different media there is, I work with it. So yeah. But like I said, this whole series, I did a whole series that looked very, very similar in the style. And that was when I first ever started mixed media back in like 2018. And now my mixed media looks completely different. It's gone through like 3 or 4 different iterations.
It's like growing up.
It is.
It's
It really
changing.
is. Yeah.
Well, I loved this one. This one spoke to me. We talked a little bit about the spider bites and that kind of thing. We won't get off track there, but I love this, even though it's maybe not what you're making now. I think it's a beautiful
Thank you.
piece.
Thank you.
Oh, that is fused glass. That's I do a lot of fused glass. I started doing what's called lampwork beads, and that's using a torch and melting glass rods to create beads. And then a friend of ours got us into doing that. And then all of a sudden she bought a kiln and she was fusing glass, and I was like, I want to do that. Because that's one of the things about being an artist. When you have artist friends, if they're doing something different from you, you're like, well, that looked like a lot of fun. So that's one of the reasons why we have so many different things in our space. Is part of it has been, from other friends we've had, or from, you see something, you're like, I think I could do that. So that is a fused glass. It's called iridescent glass. And it is,
That's what the sparkly
that's what the
background.
sparkly background is. That's the glass portion. The circle is copper, and then the leaf is brass. And so I cut those out, I layer them, and then I put a clear coat over the top of it, a clear glass, and then I fuse it all together, and that's how I make a lot of my necklaces.
It's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Thank you.
And with fused glass, just like with ceramics, you never know what the kiln's going to do to it. Exactly. You can plan, you can think,
Yeah.
but until that kiln opens the next day,
Yeah.
you do not know what's going to happen. So,
It just makes itself.
Yeah.
You put one thing in and you don't know what you're getting out.
I mean, you don't
There's a
sometimes.
definite element of surprise in
Yeah.
that art.
Yeah, because I get so excited. It takes a long time for the kiln to fire. It takes about 5 hours for the whole process for firing, but then it takes another 10 hours for it to cool. So I put it in. I sometimes cheat and peek, but you can't really see anything.
Is that
'cause
like
it's
a
all
cake?
glowy.
You can't open the door?
Yeah,
you're not
exactly.
supposed to.
You're
It'll
not
fall.
supposed to.
if you're thinking about
Maybe
doing
that's
kiln,
what
do
changes
not
it
do
when it
that.
comes
Yes,
to
do not do what she's doing.
Yeah. You're not supposed to peek, but I
thought
do
maybe that was
sometimes.
the thing.
Yeah. But then so I usually try to do it, start it as we're leaving so that the temptation isn't there. And then the next morning, I get all excited on the way to work because I know I'm going to get to open it up and see.
You wake up with butterflies and you're like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm like,
Those
what's
are the
gonna
days
happen,
you
what's
forget to
gonna be?
unlock the door and turn the open
I
sign
know.
on.
I know. It's true. It's true.
All right, what else we got up there? Oh, the jewelry. The jewelry is beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So this is a combination of both of us. So you'll see a lot of the fused glass pieces all over there. And then anything that's beaded, I usually do. And then there's also some shrink art. We were talking about it.
The shrinky dinks. Renee, do you remember the old shrinky dinks, or you're too young? Aren't you?
So a lot of the earrings on here are actually shrink art, and then some of it is polymer clay, which I have a passion for polymer clay. I just love it. And then there's even one here that looks like a little sushi, and that's hand felted. So I did a whole bunch of hand felted things, and they're all gone except for the sushi piece. Next year we'll probably have come up with a whole bunch of different
Something
other
else.
things.
I
because
know, like
we-
I'm just thinking, is there anything y'all don't do?
Right.
Yeah.
And there's like something for everyone
Mm-hmm.
in the store.
Well, I had always done a lot of wire wrapped glass, fused glass, making my own cabochons and then wrapping them. And then at some point, because I was already using copper, I was using a lot of copper from my dad. My dad was an electrician. And so he had a lot of copper wire from motors and this, that, and the other. And so I repurposed a lot of my dad's old wire. He passed away in 2015. And so it's like 10 years later, I'm sitting and I think about my dad when I'm doing stuff because I'm using his, guts from this, that, and the other to make things. And I was wire wrapping. And then I just a few months ago got into making wire rings, copper rings and rings out of quarters and pennies and dimes. And people love those, and I didn't know that I would enjoy doing that, but it was just one of those things, making stuff, and, there it was. So,
There's just nothing.
Yeah.
There's just nothing y'all don't do.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, like just this whole time from, start to finish on this, just being able to sit back and see like the evolution of your art skills, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
To sit back.
yeah.
See it.
And we love upcycling things. So we upcycle like old clothes, and we upcycle like her dad's wire.
I love that you called it upcycle and not recycle. That's my new word. I'm going to use that. I'm going to find a way to use that tomorrow when I upcycle something around here. Okay, what else? I think we've got maybe one or two more.
More fused glass. Those are my fused glass animals.
She's done.
Now, this is like the possum we talked about earlier,
yes.
right? You made
I
the
just
possum
fired.
one.
Tomorrow when I open the kiln, I will have 5 possums and a caterpillar.
Yeah.
So I made a caterpillar.
Oh.
Yeah.
But,
She's
but you're not going to open it and peek at them.
Oh, she
I
already
already
did.
It was like 800 and something degrees, and I just went, eat. Okay, yeah, they're all there. I don't know why I look.
You're like a kid at Christmas.
She
That's
is.
right.
I tell her stay away from that kiln, and she's like over there.
Yeah, she was like, I'm just gonna go. I'm like, all right. She's walked away. I'll look.
Yeah.
What a hoot. And
So-
wow.
So, along with cat portraits and dog portraits and pet portraits of all kinds, I love painting people portraits. That is one of my favorite things to do. These are with watercolors, and I'm obsessed with a K-pop group called Stray Kids. I mean, I am absolutely obsessed. They're coming out with a new album just in a few days, and I cannot wait. I'm so excited. But these are two of the members of Stray Kids. I'm trying to paint all 8 members of Stray Kids, and then we're going to scan them and make stickers out of them. So we'll have those online for any stays out there, because Stays is the name of the fandom. So I am absolutely obsessed with Stray Kids. They make the best music. Their music saved me.
That really is a train going by.
Yeah.
Their music absolutely saved me, because
So it's so meaningful.
it is so meaningful.
Yeah.
Because when COVID hit, I regressed a lot, because I had been in therapy for years and years and years, and I regressed a lot during COVID and had a lot of problems and issues, and I found Stray Kids in K-pop. She had been listening to K-pop for a couple of years, and but I fell in love with Stray Kids, and they helped me through COVID. They help me every day. Their music is so uplifting and meaningful, and so I love painting them, and they always come up with different hairstyles. Actually, my hairstyle right now is because of a Stray Kid. Hunjin is one of the Stray Kids, and he is known for his beautiful long hair. This is Hunjin, and he always has beautiful, beautiful long hair. And earlier this year, sometime around January, he shaved his head, and I went, wow, that looks really good on him. I wonder if I could pull that off. And so I went in the bathroom and shaved my head. Well, for years,
add that.
I've been known for the color of my hair, because I'll be pink and purple and blue, and I've always done it myself.
Right.
And so I was like, well, I can do this myself. So
She's always cut her own hair.
Yep,
so.
I've cut my own hair for the majority of my life. So when I saw his, I was like, that's so inspiring. I'm going to go shave off my head. So I shaved off
I
my head
love it.
earlier this year.
I love it. So if anyone's needing a portrait, they
Yes.
can commission you to do
Yes.
that,
So
correct?
I do watercolor portraits. I do acrylic portraits. I've done family portraits.
Combining,
Combining.
from different pictures where people are like, can you take this and
Oh,
this
yeah.
and put it all into one?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's smart too, because so many times they don't have the family portrait.
Right.
So if you can put it together for
Yeah.
them, then again, just helping those families.
Yeah.
And we were talking about like the young me. This was my dream when I was first starting out as an artist. I was like, I would love to be able to do portraiture, and never thought I would be able to. Never believed that I had the talent for it or anything. And so the little me would have looked at this and went, wow, you really, really, you did it, because that was one of the things I dreamed about. And I just was like, there's no way. I don't have the talent. I don't have the ability to do portraiture. And now I'm doing portraiture all the time. So
Wow.
Yeah.
Our last picture. So this, there's been a lot of great work up there, but I really love this. And the part I love about this is the steps.
Yeah.
So this is at the end of the road on Broadway.
This is on Broadway. Because when we first opened, nobody knew we were there. We didn't have a sign. We didn't have anything. And we were sitting there, and nobody knew we existed. And so I was like, okay,
Do we
need to
put
make
up a
sign.
flashing light, or do I make something?
I know. So I was like, okay, I'll make a sign. And so we had one that was done, another sign where it was done in chalk. But every time it
had
rained,
to
we'd have to run and get it and everything else. So eventually we had...
Morgan at a River City Printing.
River City
They are
Printing
amazing.
did that for us.
So
So they recreated what I had done. And I had put on it because most of our customers are tourists. They aren't from here. And so because it was tourists and we were getting people from the boat, and especially in the beginning, we were trying to make sure that the boat, the people when they would come in knew we were there. And a lot of those people were elderly, they're retirement age, they're doing whatever, and they only have so much energy and so much.
And
what
they've
they
already
wanna put in.
walked up the big
Yeah,
hill.
they've done all this
get
walking
to
and-
downtown.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
I know. So they're walking, and I thought, okay, what I'll do is I'll tell them how many steps so that they know how much they're investing to get there. Because if you just say it's in the distance, well, how far in the distance? So I walked it in my steps, and then I walked it in her steps. Because I'm taller and I ran cross country, I tend to make these longer strides. So I did 65 steps for me, and then I did her dinky little and it was.
And then she came in and told me. She said, I did do for your little steps, and I was like, you jerk.
For the people who notice it on the sign, they come in and they immediately tell me it was 73 steps or it was whatever, and they tell me, and I'm
It's
like,
a thing.
yeah,
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
So-
People walk in, and before we can say hello, they're like, it was 80 steps, or it was 62 steps, or whatever they say. And yeah. So now if anybody buys one of our Messy Cat t-shirts, it's got the steps on it.
Well, guys, it has been, well, nothing short of just wonderful
Yes.
having you
Thank
here
you.
on the show.
Thank you.
My heart has grown so much. I feel like I have learned so much.
Thank you.
And I just hope that we can do your shop justice and your art justice and help you get the word out about what you do
Thank you.
and just the love and care that you pour into all of it. You know, you're not just there slapping something together to make
Yeah.
a buck. It seems like it really all means something and that it all has a story. So I believe that anybody could walk in, pick up a piece, and no matter what they pick up, you're going to have a story with it. And that makes it meaningful. We really appreciate you coming on to Collab-Works and sharing this with
Thank you
us
so much.
thank you.
Thank you.
We'd
so
love to have you back in a year because maybe even 6 months because we don't know what's going to change.
Oh, I guarantee you there'll be more things in the shop.
All right, guys, with that, we will sign off of this broadcast tonight from Collab-Works. Here again with Kathy Musser and Andy Atnip from Messy Cat Creations. That's almost a tongue twister.
I know. Sorry.
We love you all and thank you for joining us. And, you know, if you can do anything at all to help us, we would appreciate that. And it doesn't cost anything to share and tell your friends about this broadcast and about their shop. Help spread the word. And if you're a business owner and you need some artwork, contact them and talk about letting them maybe put some of that in there. Helps you, helps them, helps the community. Till next time, we love ya. Bye, friends. This has been a Collab-Works Media production.